Drea's 0007 says that they are getting their ruler tattoo done by Larz, the tattoo artist that made my beautiful inches and centimeters ruler here on my left arm. They say, I'm getting my ruler tattoo done by Larz in a couple of days for my birthday. Happy birthday, Drea's 0007. Is the color choice in yours informed by the perseverance of certain ink colors in skin? Oh, I really appreciate that you imagine that I had some grand plan for durability about the color. That is not the case. But I feel like that's a compliment and I take it gratefully. No, this is a case of Larz had inked out the tattoo, and I didn't realize that tattoos happen on a kind of island time, and it's really quite lovely. Tested's Ryan Kaiser here introduced me to Larz and brought me over there. He's got a lot of ink, and was my shepherd in this. And Larz and I just spent about 2-3 hours actually in the tattoo studio just chatting about rulers and fonts and the history of metrology, and it was a sort of dance of figuring out where our nerddoms where the Venn diagram of our nerddoms overlapped. This is sort of the dance of specificity. And then we started to get into the real nitty-gritty of doing it and separating it out and doing some drawings. And then Larz printed something up that could be temporarily transferred to me so we could test it out. And then Larz inked it. And then we were talking about color, and I was looking at this blank slate and I was thinking teal, which is weird because teal is not one of my favorite colors. Although teal is known for the amount of green in it, and being as pink as a human can be. I know that greens are at the other end of the color spectrum from me, all pink and red. And I thought that contrast might look nice. So I just had this thought of teal. And then I think Larz said, what about a teal color? And we were both like, yeah, that's the thing. And I want to talk about that because it's a great little moment. My partner, my wife and I had this the other night. We were about to eat dinner, and our dinner was a homemade chicken salad that my partner had made, and it was delicious, but it needed something. And we both took a bite, and we're both sitting there chewing, and she's like, what do you think it needs? And I thought to myself, my first thought is red onions, but my first thought is so often red onions, I second guess it. And the second I thought it, she said it. And I think this is the same kind of moment. And it's a really interesting moment to me. And this is a moment in which a choice has to be made, and two people looking at that choice independently come to the same conclusion. I'm sure you've had this experience. And in essence, that thing of two people being able to see the next step for something aesthetically, and I don't mean aesthetically just visually. You know, food has aesthetics, music has aesthetics. I mean, making an aesthetic choice. And there's this moment in Get Back, Peter Jackson's 8-hour documentary about the Beatles recording the album Let It Be. It is so worth watching. I have watched the entire thing twice. It is incredible. It's an incredible creative document about the banality of creativity. Frankly, I love watching Paul write Get Back while George and Ringo yawn at him. Just sit there staring at him. Amazing. But there's a specific moment in Get Back when I gotta watch it again to figure out where this moment is. But George just says something in relation to somebody talking about a song, And George says, we don't know what this song is going to be because we don't know what the album is going to be. And the album is going to eventually tell us what it wants to be. And then we'll make that album. And I love that little flourish. I think that's really beautiful. And I think that's the soul. Frankly, I believe that that's the soul of everything. All good things come from that little moment. It's the subject of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Piercing autobiographically writes about himself as the protagonist trying to figure out how groups of people can tell that something has quality when it's really impossible to define quality to any specificity. And yet, in general, people can understand it. That thing of the thing itself. Okay, in 1988, I have moved out to a studio in Brooklyn where I ended up spending 2.5 years. It's my first time living alone and by myself and with a little room and space around me. I mean, it's like a 500 square foot studio at a 5th floor walk up. It was hot as balls in the summer and heaven, absolute heaven on earth. And I'm in there and I'm making pieces, I'm making sculptures. And I don't know if I can, actually, wait a second, wait right there. Yeah, so I'm out in Brooklyn and I learned about plaster bandages and alginate. And I was doing all this artwork, casting my face and making casts of my face and mucking around with it. And I had found a warehouse of medical equipment that was like throwing it all out. And it was just, I was walking past this door and it was like 3 a.m. And it wasn't 3 a.m. It was probably like midnight, but I was like, is this stuff going to garbage? And they're like, yeah. So I took a whole bunch of stuff and I ended up making this piece. And it was like, this is still, after 40 years, it's still unfinished, but something essential happened to me in making this. Like I was thinking about a poem, I was thinking about a line in a poem, and I made this while that line in this poem was sort of a mantra in my head. And I finished it and I was like, this is something happened here to me, with me, to me, among me. Something happened and it felt important and kind of unique. And so I actually put this in a box, and I ended up taking it home. My parents, my mom still lives in Tarrytown in Sleepy Hollow, New York. So I took the train up with the piece and I brought it and showed it to my dad. And my dad looked at it and said, you know, what I really love about this is he said, it brings its own morality to it. And my dad he did not like talking about art in general. He did not like, defining things or saying what it's about. But that phrase really, it hits me where I live, because I do think that objects of quality bring their own morality to them. I really do believe that. And I believe they're actually like, yeah, you make an entity. You're making something new that didn't exist before. What was the original freaking question? Tattoo done by Larz, just following the dictum of the thing. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.